I just wanted to introduce myself and my colleague Chloe. We'll be hosting today's Hug event. It's going to be a really nice one today. We're basically going to be talking about all things leadership teams, so why they should embrace HubSpot, basically. So to really help them to embrace the change that the CRM brings and to help them just be on board and support and understand exactly how it can help their organizations. So just a brief introductions. I'm Sophie, and I am a senior business development consultant at HubGem. We specialize in the implementation of HubSpot for education, and we help organizations to scope HubSpot and implement based on an education kind of sector setup. So my background is in education. My previous role was in an independent school within the marketing and admissions department, where I oversaw international admissions and recruitment within the school. And my colleague Chloe will introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Chloe, so you might have seen me on previous Hugs as well as Sophie, but yes, I have a background in early years education and also the Senko at a setting as well as a deputy manager. So fully get the need for embracing new systems and just being part of SLT and kind of what we need when it comes to presenting kind of new ideas. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here today to support Sophie with this Hug. We support many organizations with scoping HubSpot as well throughout their new ways of looking into new systems, new software, new ways and all sorts. So yeah, we're here today to help you identify if this could be a good fit and also how you can support your leadership team with embracing HubSpot as a solution.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, so as Chloe said, we're hoping to kind of help you with a few tips and just how to basically approach the conversation and approach the initial kind of exploration of a CRM. For education in particular. Myself and Chloe come from an organization called HubGem. We are a HubSpot Diamond partner, and HubGem was actually founded by our CEO, Gemma, while she was working as a director of the marketing and admissions department in an independent school. And she actually came across HubSpot and tried to kind of test it out as a solution to kind of streamline marketing and admissions and help with the day-to-day organization and management of this particular area within a school, and found it works really, really well. And now we as an organization help many other organizations in education, whether that be universities, online training providers, anyone in the education sector, to implement the same and help with the streamlining of those two departments and communications. So today we're going to be looking at why leadership teams should embrace HubSpot. So for a CRM to be successful, it needs to be adopted by employees across all departments. So senior leadership basically plays a crucial part in promoting the CRM and encouraging its use. So if you can get them to understand exactly what it's for and the value in the CRM, then you've hit the jackpot. So we're just going to delve into that today. So the agenda, just quickly, is going to be basically we're going to be looking at what is most important to the senior leadership teams when using a CRM. That's an overview of HubSpot just in general, just to kind of show exactly why HubSpot is such a good solution CRM for education. We're also going to be bringing some really nice kind of tips that you can use if you are looking at potentially pitching HubSpot CRM to your leadership team. So some really nice kind of ways on how to kind of angle it, and keeping in mind some of the main kind of areas that pique SLT or senior leadership teams' interests. We will be sharing some stats with you as well, and just showing how HubSpot can impact teams in their day-to-day usage and their overall increasement of engagement, for example, applications, open event attendances, and just kind of so you can get a real-time view of how it can help and improve your day-to-day functionalities. So I'll pass you on to Chloe to discover what is most important to SLT when using a CRM.
Amazing, thank you. Yeah, so we're finding more and more that SLT and needing and wanting better visibility and better streamlined systems, as well as scalability. So where businesses need to grow over time or change and adapt to new ways, especially within the sector at the moment. There's a lot going on within the education space, and also just evolving within different requirements, really standing out from the crowd, and with that needs change sometimes. So we find also customer experience is a huge part for SLT, obviously wanting to stand out as a brand, but also those customer interactions and making sure that you're doing the best that you possibly can. So the first point would be visibility. That can be based around kind of reporting, looking at kind of inquiries, numbers for the years ahead, and also just comparing year on year. So is there anything that you need to do in marketing to be able to boost this as well? Team activity, ROI, KPIs, just that visibility and having that all in one space can be really difficult if you don't have it all in kind of one area. If you've got multiple point solutions, you've got marketing sitting over here and admissions over here, website over here, and all sorts of spreadsheets probably here, there and everywhere. So having that visibility and it all being in one place is a huge benefit. Next up, we've got streamlining processes. So this is a huge one for a lot of teams, but particularly for SLT, wanting to kind of find better ways to work, but also we find a lot of the automation piece that comes within HubSpot is hugely necessary for this, just for productivity, to be able to have timely follow-ups, map out those journeys, and just have a kind of a single source of truth in a way. So yeah, that's probably my next one. I think next one is aligning teams. This is huge, and again, really difficult to do if you don't have the correct software, or if you've got multiple different software. As I've mentioned previously, if you're wanting to align marketing admissions, which is our biggest thing that we really hype about, is the alignment between those two teams and how crucial that is for any organisation, but particularly for education, where you're needing to stand out to the student or the prospective family or the training providers, and you're needing that alignment between the teams for timely comms, but for also being able to see that record of that one contact, or being able to zoom out as well. And also, as I said, just that alignment between the marketing teams as well. Insight into prospect journey, again, a key one for aligning teams, but also just having that that insight into behaviours and trends over time. You can then align your marketing or your kind of outreach within that as well, and just kind of how your presence, things like on social media. You can really use these kind of key analytics that SLT are really wanting, either it to be make new and kind of informed decisions based around it. If you don't have the data there that can support that, it can be really difficult to improve that journey as well. And lastly, we've got customer experience, which is, I think, that the core part of any business, but having that holistic approach and being able to view and send timely feedback surveys and things like that, so that you're regularly checking in with your prospects or as a customer or alumni, and just having that that all in one place is hugely beneficial, to be able to obviously improve your processes and really delight your customers or your families as well. Great.
Okay, amazing, thank you so much. So of course that is an overview of just how SLT can really embrace HubSpot, and those are kind of main points that we're going to be delving into a lot deeper today. So just for an overview of HubSpot for education. So HubSpot is a really great fit for education. Organizations can basically find a one-stop shop for everything, where they don't have to kind of have multiple logins for different things. They can bring all their data from multiple platforms into one nice and easy space, and it just improves communication internally as well as externally. So it's a really nice solution, and we're about to show you now, just break down a little bit more how HubSpot fits in well with education. So I'm sure if you're all familiar with HubSpot, there are a multitude of different hubs and selections of subscriptions that you can go for. So we're going to go through a bit of a breakdown of the most popular hubs for education, and more specifically how they're used in alignment with education's kind of main goals and when it comes to communications. So if we begin with Sales Hub. So I'm sure you're all familiar with Sales Hub, and if you're not, then I'm sure you will be after today's hug. But Sales Hub is really, really great for admissions. So admissions teams tend to use these tools more often than not. So this is really nice for them to be able to propose meetings with the meetings tools. They can also get really great in-depth reporting insights by building their own custom report dashboards based on the kind of data they want to see. When it comes to admissions, this tends to be more around conversion rates, the time it takes for an application to go from the start to the finish, and just to get a real nice sense of the overall journey once a prospect begins to apply for a course or anything in particular with that organization. You can also obviously manage your phone calls within HubSpot with sales tools. You can actually fully record all of your calls if that's something you'd wish to do, or use the transcript tool. And even simply just to log your phone calls is a really nice kind of element of the Sales Hub tools, just so you can fully kind of log every activity you have with a prospect or a parent in particular. And then any of your team members can also come onto that record and see the conversation that's been had and any important notes that have been kind of jotted down for future reference. Another really nice tool we can have in here as well is if, for example, you're an educational organization who tends to use the meeting tool quite a lot, then this is a really nice one just to save time on both sides. I appreciate that with education, this covers a wide variety of organizations, but more often than not, the meetings tool tends to be a really popular one just to help navigate those sometimes tricky meeting scheduling, where you're maybe trying to schedule a meeting in for an overseas potential prospect, or just simply with parents that are juggling a busy schedule. You can simply send your meetings tool link across and they can book something in your calendars really, really easy. And it just takes away the kind of manual back and forth, which I appreciate can be quite time consuming for admissions teams. So if we look at obviously some other tools we can use on here, the documents tool for admissions teams is a really, really nice tool. It enables them to track where the document is, whether it's been engaged with, if somebody has reached a certain point in the particular document, which comes really, really in handy when you're dealing with particularly important documentation around the application. If there's a particular document that needs to be read, reviewed, and ticked off and understood before the next step of an application or an inquiry, then it's a nice way to make sure that you can kind of track and log that to ensure that that has definitely been seen and been reviewed properly before the next steps. So there's a lot of different organizations who use the Sales Hub tool in slightly different variations. But once you have established your particular kind of admissions journeys and what you're kind of wanting to log and track, then all of the sales tools are really, really beautiful to use for admissions teams. And I will go into a lot more depth for some examples on the next slide to show you exactly what tools can be used and how they would look in education. So the Operations Hub. Operations Hub is a really, really nice one. This one is one that can be used just across the team, to be honest. It's one that kind of falls under the radar, but is a really, really handy kind of hub to have. Just in regards to managing your day-to-day data, which is crucial, and it may seem a little bit kind of less complex or as creative as some of the other hubs, but this is one that is essential to just ensuring your data is accurate and that you can manage it properly and keep organized within your organization. Of course, when it comes to education, the data is essential for a number of reasons, most importantly, to accurately report to your senior leadership team. So if your senior leadership team are confident in your data you're providing them, they know that it's always up to date, it's always accurate, then I'm sure that will be a nice selling point for you to kind of relate to them when you are speaking about introducing a new CRM to your organization. So some of the tools that Operations Hub presents are things such as data management and quality checks. You can also set up automation in place just to ensure that your data is automatically checked, and any kind of issues that come up with any kind of lack of data alignment or kind of any messiness can be basically flagged, so you're able to correct it or automatically correct it within the automation that you set up. So Operations Hub is nice, kind of simple one, but it's really, really crucial to ensure that everything that you are recording, that you are reporting is fully accurate and reliable. Service Hub is a really nice one. This one is more kind of leaning towards your customer experience, and also to increase your overall reach to new prospects. So the Service Hub, as I'm sure you may or may not be familiar, opens the door to features such as Knowledge Base, which is one of the best, my favorite Service Hub tools for education. This enables you to create a whole knowledge base. So a spin-off page full of commonly asked questions for any prospects to basically go through and easily find the answer to what they need. This also is fantastic for SEO. So if you are looking to kind of boost your kind of SEO and to enhance the experience with your customers finding easy answers on your website, then this is a really nice one, and it looks really, really professional when it's presented on your website. Of course, they have obviously the Hub presents features such as the custom surveys, which are great when you are maybe hosting an open event and you want some feedback on how the event went for future improvements, or even just to kind of show that you care just by an additional kind of survey going out at the end of an application experience, just so you can kind of find any gaps that you'd like to improve for future references. Another feature as well is custom views, which is a really nice one to use in Service Hub, which allows you to basically customize your workspace around your needs and your preferences. This will help your team stay focused by giving them the flexibility to create views in the inbox that will help them get their work done more efficiently. So there's a lot of kind of bonuses when it comes to Service Hub and features that would be really useful for teams within the education sector. Customer portals as well are also a great one for Service Hub. These basically help you to connect and share your inbox. So your customer portal can keep ticket conversations going between customers and reps, and it also offers access to your company's knowledge base. So it can be customized to create an optimal customer experience, which Emma will show you a little bit more of in the next slide. So I've just put together an example of some Sales Hub tools, some of my favorite ones in education. You can see on the, sorry, I'm just want to make sure you can see my mouse here, but on the top left is the meetings tool. So this is a really nice one, especially for admissions, when you are liaising with parents and trying to initiate that first kind of interview or meeting with your team, and you are going back and forth with dates and times where you're both available. This is a really nice way to just send a nice presentable calendar view for you to share with the parent or the prospect or the student if it's university. And they can simply look on the calendar and select a date and time that best suits them and their availability. This kind of type of organization, from the initial experience of with you, is a nice way for them to kind of see, oh, okay, like this organization, everything's so smooth. There's no kind of, bulkiness here. Everything seems to be very kind of organized and navigational. So it's a nice kind of first, sorry, the word's lost on me now. A first impression, shall we say, when they are kind of initially engaging with your organization. Then you can also see here an example of a deal pipeline. So this is an example of a deal pipeline for education. So you can see the personalized steps here. So these can be obviously completely customized based on your individual and unique processes when it comes to applications. But this is where the application management would take place. So every single individual box here is an application of its own. And every time that they reach the next stage, they'll move along the pipeline based on the particular steps that you've put in there. You can have multiple pipelines as well, which is a really nice feature for education, as I appreciate there are numerous types of applications and there may be different types of things you'd like to kind of log on your pipeline. So you might have a scholarship application pipeline, a bursary application pipeline, and maybe a separate one for international inquiries. So you can kind of differentiate the types of applications that are currently underway, and also that also allows you to create different kind of processes and steps for each one. So the pipeline is obviously one of the key features of Sales Hub when it comes to education, just for that kind of nice organized overview of all of your live applications in one place. Another thing that you can use this for is for example, if you are wanting to automate a little bit of your application management in your system, which I understand may be ideal for most educational organizations who are looking at kind of a high influx of inquiries or applications at particular times of the year, this is a really nice tool to navigate your pipelines, make sure that they're all completely accurate, but not having to manually go in and update them. So simple automation that can be put in place here can be things such as setting trigger points for an application to move to the next stage when they have completed a meeting or completed a particular form, for example. So that way the every single application is in its right column, and it kind of manages itself, which is obviously a really nice time saver for all admissions teams. So the next part here, just in this corner, is the prospecting tool, which I personally love. I think this is a really, really nice tool for all teams to use, to be honest, across marketing and admissions within schools. This is also a really nice one if you're looking to kind of open the kind of view of what's going on, particularly in admissions, for your senior leadership team. As with the prospecting tool, your senior leadership team members can log in, and then they can see your own prospecting dashboard. So they can see the admissions team's upcoming tasks. They can see any particular leads that you are talking to, whether they are currently engaged or if they are potential leads that you can reach out to based on a high engagement rate recently. And they can see anything that you've got scheduled in your calendars, such as meetings, just to get a nice overview of what conversations are currently underway and the tasks that you've got at hand. This is also a really nice tool if, say, for example, you are out of office and you have a number of tasks that are due, so that your other team members, maybe in your admissions or marketing teams and your senior leadership teams, can log in and just see exactly where you're at and if anything needs to be done. The playbooks as well on the right hand column is a really nice tool. Basically it helps you and encourages you to establish what information you need at certain points of the contact journey. So an example of this for admissions and marketing in education could be that kind of first inquiry phone call, for example. And you might have some key points of data that you want to capture on that call, just to basically log them onto your HubSpot portals for future reference, and just to kind of set the precedent to where that particular inquiry needs to go, if it maybe requires any particular attention or any certain kind of specific resources based on the type of inquiry it is. So just setting things in place, like, you know, certain data points and questions that you need to ask on that first kind of initial conversation is really nice, and then it can be logged against a contact record as well. Once this playbook is saved, it will automatically show against every contact record. So every time that a new inquiry comes in, or you can set it up for maybe a call a bit further down the line, it will always kind of consistently show as a kind of constant across all records when you put it into your daily processes of engaging with parents, just to ensure that that data is consistent and that you always get the kind of information you need from that particular contact at that point in the journey. Okay, so Operations Hub. This one, I've just put a few examples on here. I focus mainly on the data quality tool, which you can see, sorry, I just moved my mouse here. So this is where it can be found in HubSpot. Just under reporting and data. The data quality tool is a really nice one to just manage your data, just to make sure that it's all up to scratch, that nothing is duplicated, and that everybody can kind of get a nice consistent view of some clean data. So this one is actually available to everyone who has a professional subscription with HubSpot. And one of the features is, for example, duplication management. So duplicate can be shown by being flagged as a contact or a company record, and you can basically review the two records side by side to see which one is the one that you want to keep, and then what it can do is it can merge them together as a solution, so that you won't lose any data. It will just kind of merge both records together and ensure that you have everything that you need. So that's a really nice way to just ensure that you don't have 5 versions of the same email, which understandably can happen if a parent maybe or a student subscribes under 2 different emails, for example. So this in turn is another kind of nice kind of feature that your senior leadership team will appreciate. They might not really need to know the ins and outs of it, but just so that they know that your data that you are kind of keeping, that they are also maybe reporting to governors, is completely accurate. And if it's questioned, they can see it's completely accurate. There's no duplicates. It's not based off inaccurate numbers. Another feature is data formatting, which is a tool that highlights potential formatting issues with your data. So it allows you to accept or reject suggested fixes. The most common issues in education for this will be things like missing or unexpected capitalization of data, or if something contains an unexpected number, for example. The automation features for this as well are really good. This is a tool that basically gives you the option to toggle on formatting automation. So by turning this feature on, HubSpot will automatically correct any identified formatting issues without any user input at all. So it just kind of does it in the background for you, just to ensure that everything's nice and tidy. So for Service Hub, this is just an example here. I appreciate the text is quite small, so if you can't fully read it on this particular slide, then I will share some examples of this in the email following the event. But this is an example of a knowledge base. So this is one for an educational organisation. This one is a school, just one example. And this is just a nice page that shows everything in one place. So any commonly asked questions put into subcategories such as admissions, internationals, fees, and every single one has a page that looks like this. So a series of small kind of mini blog articles that are titled with the questions of the FAQ in particular. So each one is a blog article of its own. This is really nice as it does really improve the customer experience. So it's easy to navigate, they can find answers quickly, and they can also be linked via chatbots. So if a particular chatbot inquiry comes through your website, and there's a keyword in there such as, what are your fees? That particular phrase can then automatically link to a knowledge base article, so it can give them an answer there and then in real time. So if you don't have a team member that's physically live and available at that moment, then the knowledge base is a great kind of source to kind of pass them on to at that point in time, and then to kind of say we can follow up at a later date when someone's available. So it's a really nice tool to just help with your SEO. So yeah, that was the knowledge base there.
Amazing. So yeah, I'm going to cover some of the marketing features, particularly for education, and just how these do relate as well. So there's a couple of different hubs on here, which we'll be showing you the next one in a second, but just to focus on the marketing one for now, it's hugely beneficial for obviously marketing teams and those looking at strategy as well. So to start off with, schedule social postings to go out. So this is a hugely beneficial tool, and pretty much every organization that we work with tends to use if they have access to the Marketing Hub Professional. This is so handy to be able to send out posts in a timely manner, and using HubSpot's AI tools as well within that's kind of baked throughout the hub, throughout the different hubs. You can even get started on the copy itself. Event days get really, really busy. So if you're wanting to schedule a post to go out, I don't know, whilst you're setting up, or as you're finishing for the day, you can have that scheduled and being sent out to the relevant different platforms, all in one space. So for Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and X. So yeah, that's probably one of our key features for education. It's just being able to manage your social media from one space rather than having to go into the individual platforms as well. Also, campaign management is quite a big one. So for things like open events, or if you're having college fairs, things like that, or university events, you're wanting to kind of manage that campaign in one place and associate different assets to it. So whether it be sign-ups, or you're wanting to send out comms based around it, you've then got all of that information, and also your campaign spend, you've got it all in one place as well. Can then really easily track ROI, and associate this to records as well. So was anyone influenced by the campaign? You've got that full record within HubSpot. There's also HubSpot forms. So the hugely a hugely beneficial part of this is that it's then populating the CRM for you. So there's no manual input, which I'm sure if everyone's on today's call is using HubSpot, hopefully you're aware of forms already, but that's hugely beneficial. There's also little features within the forms. It's a really easy drag and drop interface, but also it has things like progressive fields, which is really beneficial. So if you have a drop down select of what type of course you're interested in, they've selected a course, it can then offer additional questions that are only related to that course as well. So yeah, some really beneficial bits there. There's also ads, so your ad management within HubSpot as well. You can sync up your ads to manage them all in one place, and also get all those key analytics. So rather than that sitting siloed to your other marketing efforts, you can bring all of that into HubSpot. There's other benefits within that as well, which I won't go into today, but particularly around tracking behavior, trends, how to attract your best audience. You can build your different audience type based off of your CRM contacts and then push those ads out to it as well. So yeah, just a little snippet on that as well. Also marketing emails, so those fully branded emails, so you're really able to stand out from the crowd, and also just send those timely comms as well, which is what everyone is wanting and kind of demanding nowadays, and can be really tricky to keep up with. Also features within the emails themselves, such as smart or dynamic content, depending on what you're wanting to call it. Also A/B testing, personalization, segmentation of the type of audience that is receiving that email. You can really tailor it to their experience a little bit further. Also, marketing emails can be used for things like newsletters or open event communications, or applications are open for 2025, or if they've been on your website as well, you can then send some communication based around what their interest might be. Sophie's already mentioned this, but SEO as well. So there's some built-in recommendations to the platform, which can really help you to maximize your marketing efforts. And there's also other little features within HubSpot that help and really support that as well. We've then got lead nurturing, so that is mainly around kind of those automated workflows, which is where workflows is basically what HubSpot's automation is. Just means that you can really personalize their experience. So whether it be their course interest, or if they're not too sure what they're interested in at the moment to go and study at college or university, you can then help nurture them with that as well. Also, any program interest, subject interest for the schools, it can really help to kind of build that relationship, and also use it for event follow-ups as well. It can be really tricky to follow up with everybody after, which leads me on to automation. So you can trigger emails to be sent out. So let's say that they've been on your website, but they haven't yet applied for a specific course, or they haven't enrolled in the school yet. You can send some timely and personalized comms based around that and based around their interest, to see if you can nudge them a little bit further to get in contact with you. This will be a lot more based around their needs. Hello, inbound marketing. So that is one of the biggest things that we preach here, is inbound marketing and just how beneficial that is. And HubSpot makes it super easy to be able to adopt that methodology. We've also got GDPR tools built into HubSpot as well, which again just puts everyone's minds at ease. There's all sorts of subscription types as well, and segmentation of contacts. It just means that you can be rest assured that you're communicating with the right audience, and you have all the right permissions as well. And then inbound marketing, which I've already touched on briefly, but just bringing your marketing strategy into one platform, and using the contacts interests to be able to send those timely comms and really stand out as a brand as well. Next up, we've got Content Hub, which I think works hand in hand with Marketing Hub. It's recently had quite a big revamp from HubSpot, and we are absolutely loving it. There are some really, really exciting features within there, which is it feels very forward thinking, and it definitely feels necessary in this day and age at the moment. So when it comes to Content Hub, there's quite a few different features within it. I'm just going to run through a few. I haven't been able to go through absolutely all of them, but it can help you to manage, create, and kind of really stand out as a brand within your content. So things such as hosting your blog through HubSpot. We've got a couple of examples to show you in a little while, but just being able to host that within HubSpot is really beneficial. You've got those analytics then in one place, so how engaged, what are your top blogs, and then also kind of what your audience is most engaging with. There's also podcasts, which is a new feature. there's AI tools, as I've said, so built in within HubSpot, various different places, such as the email marketing, there's image generator, copy creation, there is all sorts kind of dotted around. There's also landing pages, which a lot of our organizations that we work with find really beneficial. So in instances, they might want to be creating a web page for promoting a specific event or a content download. And instead of clogging up or your website becoming a bit convoluted with multiple different additional pages, it just means that you can have this sat a little bit more siloed, but it will be fully branded to your website. And then you can direct these people through CTAs and also just a more tailored approach to a specific goal that you might have in mind. There's also brand voice, which is a new feature within HubSpot, and I think one that I think is going to really stand out for the education space, just to have for that consistency across all of your assets. So your blog writing, your social posting, your landing pages, any of your emails, having that brand voice is really important for it to be consistent, especially if you've got a larger team, I don't know, more than 2 or 3 people. To have that consistency across the board is really beneficial. And then you've got content remix, which again is, I think, going to be a hugely beneficial one for a lot of teams. In theory, basically what you could have is a blog based on a specific topic. If you then wanted to create, you can then put it into content remix, and then it can create you a social post, a landing page, an email off the back of it as well. So it's basically using the content that you've already got written, but it will then have it built out into the different platforms that you might then want to share it on as well. There's then also website builder. So if you're looking to migrate your website or build your website on HubSpot, HubSpot does have great tracking codes. If you're wanting to stick to your website, then that's absolutely fine. But for those that are looking and kind of exploring ways that they might want to change their website and have an easy drag and drop interface, HubSpot's website builder could be the one for you. I think they're probably my top tips before we go on to some just a few examples. So just to touch on a few here. So on the left side, we've got what we call one of the marketing emails. So these are the fully branded emails, and they are super easy to make. They are just a drag and drop interface, which is usually everybody's idea of a good time, just where it's just easy to then go in and manage them. As you can see, you've got CTAs, you've got personalization tokens. At the top, you'll see hopefully a little sign that says Smart module, and that is basically tailoring that experience to somebody. So whether it be that you want to show a specific image related to a course, or you wanted to show the university or the school grounds, whatever it might be, it just means that you can personalize it to the next level. You can also do the same for text. So let's say for certain courses you have a certain process, you can have that written down, and then for a different course it might be slightly different. You can have that set as smart content, which is I think a bit of a game changer when it comes to your communication. We've then got ads at the top there. So as you can see, there's just one of a screenshot from a demo portal. So apologies that the example isn't the best, but this is basically where you can pull in all your ads and just see those key analytics that you're probably getting, but in other platforms at the moment. I think that's probably one of the main highlights. And then at the bottom, we've got social posting, which is, again, a really big feature that a lot of the organizations that we work with tend to use to be able to schedule posts ahead of time, or even just get a little bit more organized within marketing and kind of knowing what's going out when, putting those key dates in the diary and making sure that you've got the copy ready to go as well. Moving on to a little bit more probably Content Hub would be the forms. So as you can see, you've got book onto an open day. So on the left side there, we'll be filling in a form, and as I said, there's all sorts of additional features within this as well. So progressive fields or drop down select. There's all different field types, so whatever data you're needing to capture within that. You've then got your GDPR tools built at the bottom, and then also able to submit that. That will then pull directly into the CRM too. The little screenshot in the middle there is based off of a blog. So again, just having that hosted within HubSpot just helps with branding and also just those kind of key analytics to see what your audience is most engaged with as well. And then on the far right, we've got landing pages. So as I've mentioned before, that the benefits of this, but this is just an example of just how branded these can be and just how beneficial they might be for your organization too. I think that's it on on those for now. So I think we can move along to a bit more kind of points and tips and tricks. So I'll leave this over to you, Soph.
Oh, thank you, amazing. Okay, that's like really interesting to hear. I think with that kind of breakdown of the kind of main hubs for education, it kind of leads us on really nicely to the points to include in your pitch when you are stood in front of your SLT and you want them to invest in HubSpot and just kind of enable you to use all these really amazing tools. So we're going to give you a few tips on how to prepare to present your pitch to your wider senior team. So we're just going to begin with this kind of list, if you like, of tips on which you should, well, sorry, I can't speak, tips on which you should highlight in your pitch. So to begin, the highlight we're going to begin with is the user-friendly functionality and interface, which I think we've briefly touched on a little bit in our previous slides, but this one is essential to kind of pitching a new CRM to a senior team, just because your senior team may be kind of technically mixed and varied. So there might be some massive kind of tech savvy members of the team, but there also might be some that kind of steer away from it a little bit, that maybe aren't as confident in tech and don't really trust it. So it's nice to kind of reassure that the technology and the kind of system with HubSpot is very, very user friendly and very easy to navigate, and is very kind of it's just easy to navigate and nice to use. So that's a nice kind of way to kind of initially draw them in, is just to show them how user friendly it is as an interface. A second point I would say is to highlight key features for your organization. So this could be like a CRM can automate tasks and streamline processes. The senior leadership team could maybe focus on using the CRM to improve team productivity and efficiency, so they can have very easy access to reports, get a nice overview of what the team are getting up to, what types of conversations are happening with admissions, and also link them directly to the kind of financial aspects of the organization as well. So it's a nice kind of one-stop shop for them to see what's going on at a glance, if you like. So the next point we'd like to kind of highlight here is to reduce the manual input of data, which of course is always a nice one for SLT to hear, because it reduces the likelihood of human error. So less time spent on manually inputting data and more time spent on the tasks that really matter. So I'm sure if you're in the sector or just not using HubSpot at the moment, that the manual kind of time that's put into recording conversations to data to kind of logging everything and follow-ups even can be quite time consuming. So if that time is taken out of your hands due to the automation and the functionality of HubSpot, then it can open up the door to more time spent on strategy and on reviewing your processes and brainstorming new ideas to kind of launch for your organization to try out. So it's a really nice kind of way to kind of pitch them that you can basically free up your time and input that time into other areas to improve the organization as a whole. Another feature is reporting. So reporting dashboards which can provide in-depth conversion insights. Of course, these are all customized, so anything kind of particular that your senior leadership team wants to see, you can build and create and share with them very, very easily. So things like KPIs, conversion rates, forecasting, you can easily share them on a kind of automated system where you can share your dashboards weekly, daily, monthly with your senior leadership team, and they can get a nice view of exactly what numbers you're currently working with and any kind of specific lists of applications, conversion rates, and all of that kind of good stuff. So HubSpot data is also, of course, live. So when you are sharing these reports, your data will always be up to date. And once you've set up your reporting dashboards, then the kind of hard work's done, and HubSpot will just continue to feed in data every time a contact engages, moves on to the next stage in the application, downloads anything, fills out a form. It all kind of gets logged and it all goes towards your report data. And now we're going to move on to our subscription costs.
Yeah, so I suppose we've touched on this a couple of times, but just having those multiple different systems in place usually comes with a cost as well. So being able to collate all of those into one platform is usually beneficial, and usually a highlight that we find for a lot of senior leadership teams to know kind of where they're sitting and what subscriptions they've got. But also in some cases, it's actually then reduced the cost of software as well, where they've got kind of point solutions for kind of social media posting, or email marketing over here, and kind of, or a point solution for your admissions process, and so forth. So it just means that you've got no more point solutions, and it can reduce subscription costs as well. There's also the benefit of having an overview of teams in one place. So that visibility, I think, is key to be able to highlight to your team as well. That visibility of that full journey, so interaction, alignment of teams, being able to see that all in one place, and to be able to really nurture your leads as well. So having that, and just aligning those teams to be able to work together, as I said before, can be really tricky to do if you haven't got the right systems in place. So yeah, hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. And then we've got single source of truth, so simplifying your data. That is huge and that is key. A messy CRM is no good to anybody, but having that single source of truth, so that data just sitting in one place, so rather than it sitting in admissions platforms or on kind of marketing platforms, you've got that all in one place as well. Can really help with your kind of engagement and just knowing kind of where your best efforts are placed. We've also got off-the-shelf integrations, so another one to highlight. So there's two-way integrations with emails, email providers, so that you've then got that visibility and being able to track engagements. You've got also things such as DocuSign, so for signing contracts or T's and C's or college applications, whatever it might be, and however you need to manage that. There's also integrations with things like Jotform, Simple Events, Eventbrite, Teams, Google Meet, Zoom, all sorts, and WhatsApp as well. So there's a lot of integrations that can have this kind of holistic approach. And then you've also got statistics and client views, which I think is, and just one-to-one recommendations. A lot of the clients we work with work on kind of word of mouth, and just having that review from somebody else can be really beneficial. And we're also always here to support with that should you need it. And I know that HubSpot themselves have quite a lot of case studies and statistics of people of how they when they started working, which we are going to go on to shortly as well, and just how beneficial that can be to include within your pitch. And then also, last but not least, it's probably 24 hours of 24/7 HubSpot support, which is quite a niche offering for a software provider, in my opinion, and just from what I've become aware of over the years. So outside of those working hours, you've then got kind of that 24/7 support. So if you're needing help with any automation or workflows, and you've always got someone on hand, which is usually another feature that you have to pay for with a software provider, but it's bundled in with the support, and it's kind of included within that for the for pro level and above, from what I understand. I think there is some at starter as well, but depending on what level you might need, will help with subscription type. So overall, senior leadership teams really need to be able to view a CRM as a strategic investment, which is what we find a lot of teams tend to do, as this can really significantly impact your customer relationships, your employee productivity, and overall just your business success and insights as well. Fab. I think we are, onto statistics. Great.
So nicely onto some stats. So I'm just going to share a few examples of some statistics across education sector, just to show the impact of HubSpot CRM and the growth and improvement it can have on organizations. So if I just show you some examples on here, so you can see just on these examples here that show some nice, neat, simplistic just figures, so you can see at a glance what HubSpot has done for these schools. So if we take a look at, for example, Redmaids, this one here. So a junior school, open event registration. So that was a particular area they were looking at to improve. So they had a 6-year average of up to all the way up to 2021 of about 16 registrations per open event. And well, as they obviously used HubSpot and implemented that into their everyday systems, including the junior school open events, it went up to 38. And that was just as it was happening. So it was still improving and still increasing when this was taken. So you can see that the results are really satisfying and great to present to a senior leadership team, as that's what they want to see. We've seen in our experience that the figures and the stats do tend to kind of do a lot of the talking when it comes to senior leadership teams. They may be short on time, maybe just to kind of capture their attention initially, just to show this works and this is exactly how it works. And you can see these examples here is a nice way to capture their attention and to pique their interest in a CRM that can basically create so much change and a drastic improvement. You can see here as well, I've got another example here. Lewiston School, open event sign-ups compared to previous years went up by 74%. And we've just got a little kind of quote here, just from some of the feedback we've received from the school after working after using HubSpot and working with HubGem. So these stats are obviously great. They show that HubSpot is worth the investment. And it also shows examples of satisfied teams who are happy with the improvements to their overall everyday procedures and processes. So you can see here as an example, the Red Maids one, for instance, their particular issues were they're working with outdated systems, which is quite common as well. And we've chosen these examples because the issues that organizations tend to face very commonly were present in these particular examples. So things like outdated systems, disconnected systems, challenges to align the marketing and missions teams, the processes in place had no central records, so there's like a lost point of solutions. They wanted some better conversion rates, better reporting on conversion rates. They wanted more strategic recruitments and campaigns in place. And the frustrations came from multiple platforms not fully aligned and working together. So HubSpot provided a really great solution for all of that, just by the technical implementation, the training that the teams received, and overall bringing everything into one easy to understand platform that the whole team could get on board with, which is obviously essential to that kind of initial exploration of any product. So we've got a few more examples here, just a quick one. We've got a university example here, which shows drastic improvements over time after introducing HubSpot. Their main issues had been just kind of, they wasn't kind of using HubSpot to its full capacity from an EDU perspective. So when they kind of put in the time to to really kind of ensure they're using the tools properly, and getting everything in place so that their team are fully confident in using the tools. And that is, of course, inclusive of your senior leadership teams, and just getting a better understanding of what it can do for your sector. So things like data cleansing, mapping out your customer journeys from start to finish can all really make massive, massive changes when it comes to improvements and growth for any organization. You can see some further stats here as well for schools that use HubSpot at the moment or have previously used HubSpot. You can see inquiries have gone up by 189%, and the same here for a virtual event that a school ran on an annual basis. So you can see that the improvements and the increases in just overall communications engagements with prospects and parents are huge. And these types of figures speak a lot when it comes to pitching to your senior leadership teams. So I appreciate we're getting a little bit tight on time, so I'm sorry if I've skimmed over that so fast, but I wanted to just have some time now to review any kind of questions that we've had throughout the event. If anyone's got anything they'd like to kind of ask just for the last couple of minutes of the event and just delve into, then feel free to pop in the chat box if anyone's got any questions.
We did have some on the form actually, Soph, so we could touch on those first, maybe.
Yes, we do. We had a few. So the first one was looking for tips on how to present the cost benefit analysis. So cost analysis would be return of investment. So the data being live in HubSpot so that the senior leadership team can always just pop into HubSpot with a view only seat and just see exactly the return of investment on marketing ads, for example, on inquiries and the amount of time it's taken to kind of come through. And you can see the exact kind of reporting on the conversion rates and the applications and how it's going up over time based on your usage of HubSpot. You can also obviously see any kind of subscription costs that have been reduced, which is a nice kind of straight away view to see that the money's going somewhere that is either saving you money or it's going into somewhere that you're seeing the results instantly, which is a really nice view to have from a senior leadership team perspective.
Also, I think as a brand as well, being able to stand out, that's quite a big cost analysis as well, is to be able to really kind of up your game with your branding, and being able to send those kind of timely comms. It's becoming quite competitive in our experience with other organizations that we work with. So I think having that as part of it, and just moving with the times really is a huge part of it. And there's lots of other systems out there that you could be using, but in our opinion, I feel like HubSpot does this so well in many different areas, where some software might do it really great in some areas but maybe not in others. Obviously that does also come down to your budgets and things like that, so hopefully that helps. But any other questions, then you can always pop some time with that in with us. We're always happy to help and delve into this a little bit deeper as well.
Absolutely. And I think as well, there's quite a few questions on how to get wider buy-in from the team after maybe if you've used a software and the team aren't kind of fully committed to it, or they're struggling to kind of get on board. It's a really nice way to basically there's a few methods you can have to kind of give them a new kind of sense of trust in the CRM system and get them excited about using a CRM in the right way. So we could basically suggest things such as pinpointing initially what you uniquely want to use it for. So tailoring your setup for your organizations and your goals with your particular portal. So ensuring that what you want to use it for has been established before you kind of delve into it, so that your whole team is on board, getting their input on that as well, listening to how your team want to kind of use a CRM and what their current kind of challenges are, and then kind of providing some kind of solution using the tools that you have to really help them feel heard and feel like there is a solution to their current kind of challenges, and there's a better way to kind of do things with the CRM that is in front of you, and how you can navigate that. We actually are, like Chloe said, open to have a chat about any kind of ways to help with setups and things, and just kind of help your team see kind of a different kind of view and angle on a CRM that you're currently using. But we can definitely have a conversation about that on another kind of call or anything, if you would like any advice on how to really utilize your HubSpot subscriptions.
I think also we've helped other people in the past with this as well, haven't we, Sophie? Where they've come to us and they've gone, oh, not another system, and it's just showing that value and showing that benefit in a kind of in a simple way, but in a way that's not too daunting as well. And I think that's also where HubSpot's interface really comes in, like Sophie mentioned earlier, just how easy that is to use and how easy it is to adopt, and also. Well, we're sector specific kind of experts within this as well. So if you've got any further questions, then feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be happy to help you to kind of navigate this tricky time at the moment, because we know how hard it can be.
Yeah, definitely. And in this sector as well, because it's quite dated in some ways. So a lot of the kind of current processes that a lot of organizations use may kind of work to some extent, but when there's a better way to do it that is helpful to everybody, it can be tricky to get everybody on board if technical abilities and certain kind of patterns are kind of quite set. So it's nice to kind of open the doors to new solutions and new ways of doing things, but everybody has their own unique individual goals and challenges every day in their roles they face. So it's nice to kind of pinpoint those and then find a way for them to navigate that with using the CRM that you're speaking about, so HubSpot. So there's a few other kind of little bits here. So one of the commonly asked questions is things such as, what is the average time frame to transition to HubSpot, which senior leadership teams will often ask, which is normally about three months in total if you include your onboarding processes as well. A lot of people ask as well, when it comes to senior leadership team questions, is it GDPR compliant? Which yes, it is. And also just ask there's also, often common questions from senior teams around what it can replace. So if they're looking at maybe stopping certain other subscriptions because it can do it within HubSpot, it's nice to maybe like list those off to your senior leadership team. So things like Hootsuite, MailChimp, any admission software, or just manual spreadsheets. It's nice to kind of show them what it can replace and, you know, kind of simplify those kind of processes and day-to-day work within your teams. Is there any more questions at all? I think
so. I think we've covered them.
Yeah, okay, amazing. So we'll just quickly go on to some resources. So following the event, you will receive an email with the recording of today's hug. You'll also receive some handy resources. We have some blogs on here for you to enjoy, such as quick wins for your organization in education when using HubSpot. Also how to kind of effectively use your reporting tools to make informed decisions in education, which is a really nice one that your senior leadership teams, I'm sure, will really appreciate. We also have a resource available where you can basically get some tips on how to build more effective reports, and also a little blog on how to share application and inquiry reports with your senior leaders. So a very specific resource there for you to be able to use with your senior leaders. We also have a nice HubSpot Academy course recommendation on how to customize views and records for your team, which would be nice if you wanted to maybe share certain pieces of data with your senior leadership team, and you want them to be able to log into a certain into your portal and access certain contact information. It might be nice for them to have their own personalized view of the data that they want to see at a glance, so it's easy for them to navigate and to look at what they need to see. So I would recommend subscribing to Marketing and Admissions blog that will be linked in your emails. Enjoy your free resources and keep an eye out for our next hug sessions. So our next hug will be on June the 24th, which doesn't even seem that far away at all. This one will be on current student communications and how to turn them into promoters. So that'll be a really fun one to attend. If you'd like to register now or a bit close to the time, you're welcome to do so. And there will be a link in the follow-up email for you to quickly do that. All of our previous hugs are also available on YouTube. So if you want to kind of watch them back and have a look at any that you are that you'd like to kind of catch up on, then they're all available on our YouTube channel, which will also be linked in your follow-up email. We also have a Hug community LinkedIn group where you can join and potentially meet other organizations within the sector who are using HubSpot. It's a really nice space to kind of bounce ideas off each other and just to kind of to speak and share experiences as well. And we share some really nice tips on there on kind of getting the most out of your HubSpot subscriptions for education in particular. So yeah, I'm sorry it ran over a little bit. We're 3 minutes over, and I feel like I sped through those last little bits. But thank you so much to everyone who has attended today, and we look forward to seeing you on the next hug.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you all for joining. We'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you. Bye.